The focus of the learner-designed individual program style is to acknowledge a learner's motivation and cognitive intentions to design his or her own learning experience. In this style, a learner initiates a request to purchase the complexities in making all decisions, defining learning objectives, and producing ideas. In this style, the learner determines the teacher's degree of involvement. In this style, you will see that the teacher designates a broad subject matter or topic, and within that topic, each student is responsible for producing an individual learning program that includes setting goals and the process for accomplishing the goals. The learner's design implements, refines the program, and creates performance criteria for their individual learning programs. The teacher acknowledges the production of ideas and asks questions for information or clarification about the learning program. Episodes in this style take time to produce. In the learner-designed individual program style, the role of the teacher is to make general subject matter and logistical decisions for the learners. The role of this learner is to make decisions about how to investigate the general subject matter topic, to produce questions that lead to a specific focus within the general topic, to produce questions that result in identifying the process and procedures, to discover the solution/movements, and to designate the performance criteria. The subject matter for this topic is to discover, create, and organize ideas on one's own, and to develop subject matter that deals with the complex issue over an extended period of time. The third objective is to engage in a systematic process to explore and examine an issue. And the last objective is to set standards of performance and evaluation on one's own.
Hello, Todd Herricks here to talk about the Mauston's teaching style of the learner-designed individual program. I'm going to talk first about the behavior objectives and then finish up with the implications or advantages and disadvantages of the learner-designed individual program style. To start out with, when the learner-designed individual program style is achieved, the following behavioral objectives are reached. First, to accommodate individual differences in thinking and performance, to provide an opportunity for the learner to experience increased independence over a relatively long period of time, to exercise perseverance of tenacity, to provide opportunities for individuals to be self-directed. Also, as objectives would include, the program is being developed by the learner based on physical and cognitive abilities of that individual. This style is also highly individualistic, not suited to all learners. Learner designs the questions and the solutions on their own. The teacher observes, guides, and provides individual conferences, and it is an enrichment activity. To move on to the implications or the advantages and disadvantages of the individual learner program would include that prior experience in an activity is necessary for learners to gauge in this style. It is also very time consuming. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of experimenting, a lot of performing, a lot of recording. It is also advantageous in the fact that a teacher can kind of give instructions and then the student is kind of off on their own, so it would work good for larger class sizes. Some disadvantages of it would also include that the teacher just kind of lets the students go off on their own, so there is always that risk. In the objectives, it also stated some kind of disadvantages. It is not suited for all learners, so not all students would be a good fit for this type of teaching style. And lastly, I think that's all I had. Thanks for listening.
Hello. Today we are going to be talking about a teaching style known as learner-designed individual programming. Now, this is something that I think is very compatible with project-based learning, so I provided some examples on project-based learning, which I think is a little bit more up-to-date than what is described by Mauston with this teaching style. Now, some examples that I have for this style is, I personally think that it's more appropriate in grades 6 through 12. I think you can get away with it a little bit in elementary school, but I think that the 6 through 12 setting is just a little bit more appropriate just because they're a little more tech savvy at that age. And as an educator, I would personally want them to spend more time moving at the elementary level than implementing this type of teaching style. But that's just my philosophy. Now, to describe how it would possibly look when you're implementing this in a physical education setting, is it could be the end of the semester before winter break, and the physical education teacher presents a list of different content areas that will be implemented in the spring semester for physical education. Now, each student pulls a content area out of a hat, such as golf, tennis, softball, archery, and each student will then research that subject area over winter break, and then on the first day of that actual unit, they will give a presentation and present what it looks like. And there can be certain parameters that the physical education teacher assigns to the students, and there's certain content areas such as your presentation has to describe the rules and other content of whatever you're assigned. You have to embed some history, and you have to have some visuals of what certain skills look like. So if you're doing tennis, your presentation would have to incorporate either you or a video of the backhand or the forehand stroke and the serve taking place, so students have a visual, and then to identify some important cues that go along with that. So basically, it's very student-centered, and the teacher just kind of gives them a subject and gives students the opportunity to examine the content area that they were assigned. And this is a good way for students to get creative and discover more about about the certain content area. It gives them a good opportunity to be responsible and educate their peers, and I think this is a great teaching style to use. And I will also share some different articles and a video on project-based learning. The video will be attached in this link that I will send out to the class. There's some multiple articles that would be very helpful for anyone to use, and it's based on project-based learning, which I think essentially is the same thing as the Learn Designed Individual program. So I hope you enjoy the resources I give you, and I hope my example made sense. I also hope you have a great day.